Today, you are going to learn how to extend the memory of your AI agents. This is one of the most important videos because all these AI agents have limited memory, and using this, you can extend the memory to infinity and beyond. So this is what we are going to do using Supabase, and I'm going to show you. As you see on the diagram, we've got vector store, so we are saving everything in Supabase vector store, and then we have got another execute workflow that you see here. You can click on execute this workflow, which downloads the file. This is the file that is there. And then it goes in, it creates vectors out of it. You see 67 items, which are all different vectors created. And once you have it, then they are part of the memory. Then we can go and we can communicate with this chat. So right now when we go and we write what the document is about. So this is going to tell us the document rule of gold simplified is about the simplified rules and guidelines. This is the document that you see, rules of gold with simplification. And on this side, all of them, the answer came significantly faster. Now we're going to ask what about the rules. So right now it goes out there and it is searching inside the database of Supabase, and it gives us this information. Rule 1, the game. This is the whole information. Then you've got rule 3, rule 4. All of this information is there. Now we are going to create all of this from scratch and show you how to build it so that you can also have it. We're going to start with on chat message, which is the initial trigger, which is the chatting. And then we are going to add AI agent that you see. From this AI agent, we are going to connect it to a chat model. So we are using OpenAI chat model here, GPT-4, one of these models, or 5. And then we've got memory. For memory, we are going to use Postgres chat memory. This is excellent because this remembers all the previous conversations which are out there. So this is significant because you want it to remember all the previous conversations that a person has made. And here we've got Postgres, we've got user, we've got password. So this is how you configure your Postgres. You can also set it up locally, but you can also go to some platform like Supabase, which provides with a Postgres already hosted that you can use. In our case, we're gonna go and take a Postgres here. So here, when you're setting it up, this is the process: set up a project name, organization, and setting up a database. We're doing all of this for the Postgres database so that we could get it. Yeah, the password has to be stronger. And yeah, create new project. South Asia, Singapore, better to do it in the location that you are in, but just for test, we're gonna keep it like this. This organization has been created here. Authentication, Postgres, so all of this information is there. Then now when we go into the database section, what? Two today. Yeah. So now we have got the database settings with the pool size. This is the database. You click on connect, and here you can see that we have got a URI. We can copy, paste exactly this URI. You see this URI, PSQL. And here we've got all this information. We've got the URL that we have to connect to. We've got the port. We have got the -d database. And then -U, you've got the username. So this is this whole information that we could just copy on our side. And we could just go and paste it inside here for the host. And then database, obviously, we've got Postgres. We have to check if the user is exactly this. And we're going to find a user. Username is also postgres.pool.f, all of this. So we take all of this information and we add this as a user. Now we are adding the password. This is also the password that was created while we were building the organization, or for the database, we have this information. So inputting it in there. And then we have to always look what is the port. So the port for us is 6543. We can just take this and we can go and we can add it here as a port. Now this is the whole configuration. We can rename it exactly how we want. I'm going to rename it test, and it is saved. So this whole connection is working, credentials to connect with, as you can see. And now we are going to set up a tool section, and here we are going to connect Supabase. So we go to Supabase vector store, which is a node inside N8N, and then we are going to set up our own credentials. So here we see connection. It requires a host and service role request secret. Now inside Supabase, when we go, we're going to go and try to find this. I think it should be in the project settings, but let's see if this is exactly here. So yeah, we've got a project URL in the data API. So we just copy this and we're going to add this as the host. And then we've got second service role secret. And for this, we go on API key and we have got the service role. We're just going to reveal, copy it, and add this to our video. Now we are setting it all up properly. Yeah, so the connection was successful, and yeah, all of this information is saved. Here we've got description and from list, what is the name of the table. So right now we can go and select. So we do not find anything because obviously we did not set up any table so far for us, but that's something that we can configure. Now when we go and we just test it out on chat, when we write it, when we trigger this, hi, it runs this AI N8N table name history. So this is where all the history is saved from the Postgres chat memory. So once we execute this, this all runs perfectly. We are going to go into the table editor and we are going to see if this is made because we have already the date Postgres created. So look at this. We have the Postgres created, we've got messages, and we have got a session ID. This is specifically for the Postgres that we have because inside Supabase, we also set up the Postgres for the chat memory. And now we are going to look at Supabase. We've got Supabase vector store where we're going to store all of the chunks. These are the chunks. These are vector chunks which we have from this document. So right now, yeah. So if we go into this documentation, we can see here that we've got insert provider setting a vector store. So yeah, this is the quick start to set up a vector store. You can check out inside the documentation how all of this is. Let's copy this SQL and see if we can create an initial structure to create the database. So yeah, let's run this right now. And no rows returned, but success. So it seems like it was successful. Now, if we go to project overview, we should see some tables from down the list. So let's see which ones do we see. Okay, amazing. So we see documents. Yeah, we can just click on this. So this is the one that we created right now. Retrieve document as tool. Use this to get the information about we copy this, the rule of golf, simplify. And now, yeah, so now we've got that properly connected, and now we're going to connect it to the embeddings of OpenAI because OpenAI already offers these embeddings, so it can convert anything into embeddings. And now we want to create another workflow where we are going to execute this, and we are going to go when clicking execute workflow. So this is what we are going to run and which we are going to call. So here we go and we are going to connect to Google Drive. Yeah, we found the Google Drive. So let's go and download this file. This is the file that we have got about the golf. So we are going to capture this information. We've got resource file, download exactly this from list, and here we should find exactly that document. So this is rules goal simplified. So we found this exact document. So this is what we are going to execute from up there. So that's why we are creating this whole workflow. Now I'm clicking on Supabase. So once we vector store, it has to be in the vector store. And add documents to vector store. So we could just use this operation so that Supabase has all of the information of that document. So yeah, downloaded file, and this is added inside the vector store. And then we are adding OpenAI embeddings. Super important that you can only save embeddings inside a vector store. So that's why we are adding the OpenAI vector store. And type of data, we have to convert it into binary. We check up simple custom. We're gonna set it up for this example. So default data loader, we've also gotten it. And now we want to, how do we want to split the whole binary data? This is something that we are checking out. So yeah, from list, we are gonna go in there in the vector store, and we see this document because we have to convert this document into many chunks and save it into the vector store. So this is the reason why we are doing all of this loading. We are converting it, we are creating embeddings out of it, and then saving it back there. So you can see that we've got 67 different embeddings which are created out of this whole document. And that's why, so inside this document we're going to find 67 of them. These are, the whole document is divided into multiple pieces and embeddings are created out of them, 67 out of them. So now when we open chat, we're going to execute this. So we're just going to write this, what the document is about. And when we run this, it's executing this. It is going to Supabase, checking out the embeddings, and the document title, rule of call simplified, is better version of. So okay, this gives us all the information properly about this whole document. Is published by United States. This is also, so this is all coming directly from embeddings. So it's super important to also realize that it's embeddings versus embeddings, which that's why this is so fast, because there's cosine similarity between different embeddings, and that's how all of this information is gathered. So yeah, the rules of golf, they're also coming out properly. As you can see, match does not, these are all the rules that we know about. Yeah, so this is this in the vector store we have created all of this, and this is, as you can see, we can just save this whole workflow. And yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, this is we have also got an AI university where you can go into, where we go into detail about all of these automations. But it's really important to see how that whole automation work like, because at the end of the day, really important to know, for the purpose of this automation, our goal was that we can create embeddings of a document, and then we can search and find all the information about that document. When you've got a lot of data, a lot of live data, then you can save them also in database as embeddings, and then it is really easy for AI models to completely configure and find things and search in those documents. It's a very extensive, detailed video, but I hope you liked it, because at the end of the day, this is something that you'd need in almost every AI N8N RAG agent that you're gonna build. You need to have an external memory like Supabase, and you need to save your chat history like we did with Postgres.